Welcome to Kautilya. We are starting a new topic. It's the beginning topic, history of Andhra Pradesh. It is called social and cultural history of Andhra Pradesh. Social and cultural. The title suggesting that social and cultural history of Andhra Pradesh. What is social and cultural history of Andhra Pradesh? Society. Andhra Pradesh society and the customary practices, traditions, everything will be covered in the social system. Caste system, Varna system, how deeply it is entrenched in Indian society, and the status of women and popular amusements and the lifestyle, everything is explained in terms of society. And let us talk about culture. Culture, it is it's having broad meaning, it's having wider connotation. Culture involves lifestyle, culture involves language and literature. Culture is an aspect involving language and literature as well as festivals, customary practices, traditions, everything included in the broad aspect of culture. Simply we can define culture as a lifestyle. Okay, here see the impact of geography on the social and cultural history of Andhra Pradesh. That is the topic. The impact of geography, geographical conditions, geographical landscape and its qualities and its nature, and the way they left indelible impact on the history of Andhra Pradesh. That is a very important topic and a great debate to open with. So let us have the debate on the impact of geography or geographical conditions on molding the lifestyle of the people and in molding the historical events. Right. In Indian history, let us talk in Indian history. There are so many examples to say that geographical landscape left an impact on historical events taken place. For instance, Shivaji emerged as a national hero. Shivaji emerged as the founder of Swaraj. The emergence of Shivaji as the greatest hero and the founder of Swaraj, behind the emergence of Shivaji evolving as a great leader, definitely the impact of geography is there. The Maratha race, they existed, they inhabited area, it's called Maratha Plateau. The Maratha Plateau, it is uneven landscape, doesn't have adequate rainfall, scanty rainfall, it's having only very scanty, very scanty rainfall, limited rainfall, and rocky composition of soil, infertile soil, and mountainous tracts as well as the forest area, and these conditions were not at all eligible for the cultivation activities. And Maratha race left with no choice, they will have to work hard for leading their lives. So they have chosen hunting for leading their lives. Entire women, children, including elders, everyone, they have to take part in the economic activity, or they have to take part in food gathering. And food producing is not possible, food gathering is only the way out. So in the process of food gathering, they will have to pass through the forest area, they will have to pick up the animals, they will have to face the wild animals also, and sometimes they become prey also in the hands of wild animals. So every time they must be alert. Certain physical qualities were naturally developed and they have become inbuilt in Maratha race. The qualities like physical fitness and psychological fitness and psychological traits like perseverance and patience, patiently waiting for the animal to attack and attacking from a hiding point. This is very important. The animal is attacked from a hiding point. This way of attack, this way of fighting is called, this method of fighting is called guerrilla art of warfare. A potent weapon in the hands of Maratha race, including Shivaji, who can threaten the mightiest empire like Mughals, and who can threaten the great warrior like Aurangzeb, is nothing but art of guerrilla warfare, without which they cannot become successful in invading Mughal territories, occupying many forts like that. Shivaji is said to have occupied many fortifications of Mughal Empire and threatened, intimidated Mughal sovereignty and supremacy and founded independent Swaraj. And these things, these achievements and accomplishments are the resultants of art of guerrilla warfare. This art of guerrilla warfare, which became a potent weapon in the hands of Maratha race in carving out their identity in the history of India, it is a boon, it is a gift given by nature, natural landscape. It's a gift given by nature. Left with no choice, they will have to lead their life based on hunting, and hunting involves a lot of characteristics and qualities, physically robust structure and mental alertness always, and patience, perseverance, and these qualities are really the boon given by nature. And art of guerrilla warfare also, naturally it has become an inbuilt in the lifestyle, very lifestyle of Marathas. That's why they excelled in the art of warfare and dominated the greatest menace like Mughals. So, nature and landscape will have definitely a bearing on the historical things enveloped in the past as well as in future also. So, all social sciences are nothing but the dancers and dance of earth. All social sciences are merely the dancers performing their dance style on the dais of earth. The earth is the dais for all social sciences. So, taking this definition as an important inspiration to have an understanding about geography and its impact on the history and culture. Okay, and let us talk about a very, very important phenomena in South India, a great clash going on in past between Cholas and Chalukyas. Cholas and Chalukyas. Close contested fighting, it was going on between Cholas and Chalukyas sometime ago in past, and Pallavas and Chalukyas. Pallavas and Chalukyas. Hoysalas and Yadavas. Hoysalas and Yadavas. Devagiri Yadavas, Hoysalas of Dwarasamudram, Karnataka. These people are Maharashtra, these people are Karnataka. Okay, Hoysalas, Karnataka, Dwarasamudram, modern Halabit, and Yadavas, Devagiri Yadavas. Devagiri, Maharashtra. So these dynasties fought with each other for the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. For the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. It is the most fertile soil in South India. It is also called as Raichur Doab. For the control over Raichur Doab or Krishna Tungabhadra Doab, many ruling houses and ruling families fought with each other, irrespective of other differences. So the main bone of contention existing between Cholas and Chalukyas, Pallavas and Chalukyas, Hoysalas and Yadavas, and even Bahamanis and Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara Bahamani clash also a historical legacy. Vijayanagara Bahamani clash is also a historical legacy. What is this legacy? It came from their ambition to get the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. The bone of contention, the serious point of animosity between Bahamanis and Vijayanagara, and some people argue that, foolishly argue that Vijayanagara, they are Hindus and Bahamanis are Muslims, that's why a fight was taken place. It's absolutely wrong, absurd to say. Vijayanagara came into clash with Bahamanis not because of the religious differences. Of course, religious differences might have sharpened the clash. The real bone of contention is not at all religious differences. But what is the real bone of contention between Vijayanagara and Bahamani? Same historical legacy. Why Cholas fought with Chalukyas? Why Pallavas fought with Chalukyas? Why Devagiri Yadavas fought with Karnataka Hoysalas? The reason behind the similar reason is applicable to the conflict between Vijayanagara and Bahamani. What is that reason? The race for control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab or Raichur Doab. Krishna Tungabhadra Doab or Raichur Doab. So these ruling families and ruling houses fought with each other very fiercely in a terrific manner for getting the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab, considered to be the most fertile soil in South India. What happens if they get the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab? What is the benefit after getting control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab? Why these people fought with each other almost in a most fearful manner? The reason behind that is getting control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab ultimately, inevitably leads to control over the entire South India. The dynasty which got the control over Krishna Tungabhadra Doab, inevitably it will occupy the entire South India, because it's the land of resources, it's the land of great commercial activity, it's a land of great fertility, right? The fertile soil enabled the farming community to carry out the agriculture on the large scale. Ultimately, they will achieve the surplus production, and the country which is having the surplus production, they can maintain the standing forces on the large scale for a permanent basis. On a permanent basis, the country which is having huge standing forces directly controlled by crown and regularly paid off the salaries directly from exchequer, they will have the expansion policies. They can embark upon the policy of aggression. They can embark upon the policy of invasion, and they will bring great territory under their control, and they will be successful in their imperial ambitions. It's what proven in history, in India, across the entire world. Not only in India, in the entire world, everywhere. The country, the dynasty which got the control over the resources will automatically get the control over vast territory. So the geographical conditions and the nature of the soil will definitely become a point of animosity between different dynasties and a point of jealousy between different dynasties. So here geographical things will have their own bearing on molding the historical things, including the battles. Coming to the impact of geographical conditions, especially on the history of Andhra Desha. And let us talk about the strategic location of Andhra Desha. It's really strategic. The location of Andhra Desha is really strategic. It is in the area that is connecting Uttarapada with Dakshinapada. Uttarapada with Dakshinapada. Uttarapada with Dakshinapada. Uttarapada means North India. Dakshinapada means South India. It is the general observation, not technical observation. Generally, a layman can understand the word Dakshinapada as if it is South India. But going deeper into the technical aspects, historically, Dakshinapada virtually did not constitute entire South India. The entire South India should not be defined as Dakshinapada. Then what is Dakshinapada? General understanding is Dakshinapada is South India. But if we go deeper into the details, going by the historical evidence and historical references, for instance, take the example Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana and Mahabharata. They had reference to Dakshinapada as the country in South India except Dravida Desa. Other than Dravida Desa, rest of South India is called Dakshinapada. So, which is to be excluded from South India in order to call it as Dakshinapada, Dravida Desa must be excluded. Dakshinapada means South India except Dravida Desa. South India except Dravida Desa, which is called Dravida Desa. Dravida Desa means Tamila Desa. It is also called as far south, Dura Dakshinam, far south. Is there any other reference saying that Dakshinapada is different from Dravida Desa? Yes, there are so many, numerous references are there. For instance, Greek anonymous author, anonymous navigator, his name is not revealed, that's why I called him as anonymous. Anonymous writer means he did not reveal his name. Such writers are called anonymous. Greek anonymous navigator was there, dated back to 1st century AD. He authored a great work, Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. In that work, he mentioned clearly that the exports from Dakshinapada are different from the exports from Dravida Desa. He made the demarcation between the exports coming from Dakshinapada and exports coming from Dravida Desa. That implies that means that he had the notion of the difference between Dakshinapada and Dravida Desa. And Ptolemy also in his writings, he made demarcation between Dakshinapada and Dravida Desa. So going by many evidences, we have to exclude Dravida Desa if you want to call South India as Dakshinapada. So South India, other than Dravida Desa, other than Tamil Nadu, is to be considered in the strict historical terms as Dakshinapada. Anyhow, coming back to our topic, Andhra Desa strategically located in the point where it connects North India with South India, and North Indian culture is called Aryan culture. North Indian culture is called Aryan culture, and South Indian culture is generally called as non-Aryan culture. So now it is connecting, Andhra Desa is connecting Aryan culture with non-Aryan culture, which led to the emergence of great Hindu culture. Development of Hindu culture was taken place as the contact between North Indian Aryan culture and non-Aryan culture. So Aryan culture, contact with non-Aryan culture produced the emergence of new culture, Hindu culture, and the evolution of Hindu culture. So best example to say, so many examples are there. Hindu culture is having both Aryan beliefs as well as non-Aryan beliefs. Aryans dislike Linga worship, whereas in Hindu tradition, Linga worship is a part and parcel and inevitable. In non-Aryans, there is the practice of worshipping Linga. And Aryans' beliefs were also accepted and respected by non-Aryans. So this culmination was taken place because of the strategic location of Andhra Desa. So location of Andhra Desa and its strategic importance, it has left impact on the evolution and the development and the fluorescence of Hindu culture and heritage. Okay, and let us talk about other important aspects of the impact left over by geography on the history of Andhra Desa. For instance, take coastal Andhra, coastal area, coastal Andhra. Coastal Andhra has become a place of immense political and commercial activity, a place of great turbulence, a place of great animosity between different ruling houses and dynasties. What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that is nothing but coastal Andhra is having great fertile soil. So dynasties fought with each other for the control over fertile soil, for the control over wealth, right or wrong? And coastal Andhra is having great trade centers also. They are having immense commercial activity, immense commercial importance, trade centers. And coastal Andhra is having important port towns. So these are the geographical conditions that resulted in the animosity between different ruling classes and ruling houses and dynasties. Ultimately, it became the center of great political activity before the dawn of Kakatiyas. Before the emergence of Kakatiyas in the history of Andhra Desha, in the political scenario of Andhra Desha, which region became the center of great political activity? Answer is coastal Andhra. Coastal Andhra became the epicenter of great political activity before the emergence of Kakatiyas in the political scene of Andhra Desha. How it dominated the entire political conditions in Andhra Desha? Because of its strategic importance, geographical importance. What is the geographical significance of coastal Andhra? It is endowed with minerals, it is endowed with great fertile soil, and many important and strategic port towns were located on the east coast, and moreover important trade centers with great commercial activity were also located on the east coast. Because of its commercial importance and commercial significance, so many dynasties came into clash with each other. So geography will leave its impact always on the historical things anywhere in the world, not only Andhra Desha. And let us talk about plateau. So the peninsular area, it is having its own significance. Why? Because it can facilitate the fortification at the elevated areas. The peninsular land or the plateau, it can facilitate, it can provide the opportunity for having the forts at the elevated areas. And the dynasties which constructed the forts at the elevated areas will have the natural edge over the others. And they can command the respect over vast territory. And they can bring about the political unity also. Hence, we can say that plateaus brought about political unity in the name of Satavahanas, in the name of Kakatiyas, in the name of Vijayanagara, where they started from plateaus. Their political career started from the plateaus, peninsular region only. So, the peninsular region gave them the edge to have great supremacy over the others. And their forts became impregnable for the enemies to intrude into it. So, as they are away from the animosity, as they are away from the susceptibility to the wars, they became stronger and stronger and brought under their control the vast territory in Andhra Desha. So, best example Kakatiyas, Satavahanas, in ancient centuries Satavahanas and Vijayanagara rulers. So, plateaus, peninsular area also, it played its important role in molding the events of history. And let us talk about Andhra Desha location. Here see, so many invasions were taken place from north, so many incursions were taken place from north into South India. And Andhra Desha, as it is located in central point, it will have to face so many incursions coming from north. For instance, in ancient centuries, Shakas, who came from Central Asia, they attacked South India. Meanwhile, Andhra Desha, being located strategically in the center, it has to encounter, it has to face the attacks made by Shakas. And later, Turks, Alauddin Khalji, he made invasion on South India. And later rulers also made the invasions on South India. Muhammad bin Tughlaq also made the invasions on South India. That brought about several changes in the social and political setup in South India. Okay, and Andhra Desha has to face Andhra Desha in the form of Kakatiyas. Andhra Desha in the form of Kakatiyas. They will have to face the Turkish menace coming from North India in the form of Alauddin Khalji, Qutbuddin Mubarak Khalji, later Muhammad bin Tughlaq. 2 times Muhammad bin Tughlaq made the incursions into South India. Finally, Warangal was declined. Warangal was defeated by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And while being carried to Delhi, Prataparudra committed suicide by jumping into the river Narmada. This is the miserable end of Kakatiya dynasty, Kakatiya rule. So these are all the events and the outcome of the geographical factors. Because of its location strategically in the central point of India, it will have to face the menace from north in the form of Shakas invasions, in the form of Kakatiyas invasion, in the form of Turkish invasions on south, and Satavahanas invasion had to be dealt by Shakas invasion had to be dealt by Satavahanas, and Turkish invasions had to be dealt by, I told you, Kakatiyas. And next, rivers also very important, and they played very important role in cultural things as well as historical things. As we know, everybody knows that rivers are sacred in Hindu mythology, and Kumbh Mela, all these events take place by the side of rivers, and rivers are considered to be the places of taking holy dip, and for getting moksha also rivers provide the opportunity according to Hindu dharma, and rivers provide the irrigation water for the cultivational activities and for the production of surplus grains, surplus food grains, and accomplishment of great wealth and accumulation of great wealth. And rivers having socio-economic impact also. And rivers also promoting trade and commerce, inland waterways, serve as inland waterways. Okay, these are all the important elements having great relevance in molding historical things. And rivers are the centers of great pilgrimage centers, spiritual centers in India. So most of the important temples were all built by the side of great rivers. The centers of Indian spirituality, we can call them as centers of Indian spirituality, and rivers served as the centers of Indian spirituality, spiritual thinking. And rivers inspired many poets like Nannai Bhattaraka while writing Andhra Mahabharata. Godavari river, it inspired, it has become inspiration behind Andhra Mahabharata written by Nannai Bhattaraka. It has become a source of inspiration for the great genius like Nannai Bhattaraka. Okay. So, and Pinakini Penna has become inspiration for Tikkana Somayaji. So, rivers are having great significance in molding the culture and lifestyle and hobbies and traditional practices of Indian culture. And rivers promoted national unity and integrity. At same time, rivers also contribute to the disunity also. Disunity also, not only unity. How? The rivers in Andhra Desha, because of the rivers in Andhra Desha was divided into several natural mandalas, natural divisions. What are they? Venginadu. The area between river Krishna and Godavari should be called as Venginadu. And Pakanadu. Nellore area is called Pakanadu. Renadu. Kadapa area is called Renadu. Kammanadu. What is Kammanadu? Bapatla, Ongolu, Narsarapeta. Kammanadu. Okay. So rivers, as they promoted national unity and integrity, to some extent, they are also responsible for the disunity, political disunity, especially in Andhra Desha, as they divided Andhra Desha land into several natural mandalas, like these nadus. Okay. So this is the significance of rivers and the impact left over by rivers on the cultural aspects and historical aspects of Andhra Desha. And what about mountains? Mountains also played important role in shaping historical things. For instance, mountains provided the opportunity for hill fortifications known as Giridurgas. Giridurgas, like the places like Kondapalli, Kondavidu, okay, and Golkonda, they provided the opportunities for building impregnable fortifications, strongest fortifications, and to have the centralized power and monarchical ability. And they have a lot of significance in the political history of Andhra Desha. And moreover, like rivers, they also served as centers of great spirituality, great Indian spirituality. Best example, Simhachalam, like Sri Sailam, Tirupati. Right? Great Indian spiritual centers were there on the hills only. So this is the significance of hills and the impact left over on the culture and historical events in Andhra Desha. So we can say assertively and conclusively that geography will always have the impact on the lifestyle of the people and language of the people, literature of the people, customary practice of the people, and culture of the people, and all the aspects, religious beliefs of the people, and all the aspects. Right? It encompasses several facets of human life. And let us talk about the origin of the words Andhra, Telugu, etc. Andhra, Telugu, etc. Let us take for instance Andhra, the word Andhra. The word Andha or Andhaka, it is Sanskritized into Andhra. The word Andha or Andhaka is Sanskritized into Andhra, according to many scholars, according to many language pundits. Okay. The word Andhra was first time employed as a word referring to Jati, race. Andhra Jati. First time Andhra is a word used as a word referring to Jati. Later, it was used as a word referring to Desha, country, Andhra Desha. And finally, this word Andhra was used as a word referring to language, Andhra Bhasha, Andhra language. So, first it was a word used as a word referring to Jati, racial word, Andhra Jati. Later, it was used as a word referring to Desha, country, Andhra Desha. Finally, it was used as a word referring to language, Andhra Bhasha, Andhra language, Telugu language. So, this is the evolution of the word Andhra. And the word Andhra was first time referred in Indian literature in Aitareya Brahmana. Aitareya Brahmana. What is Aitareya Brahmana? First, let us look at what is Brahmana. Here, see. The word Veda has been derived from the root word Vid. Vid means to know. then we can say that Veda is nothing but knowledge. Veda is nothing but knowledge. Which type of knowledge it is? Spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge. Veda is also called as spiritual knowledge. This knowledge is not a sudden phenomenon. This knowledge is not acquired overnight. Any knowledge is not acquired overnight. So if you want to pursue a subject, it will take a lot of time, right or wrong? Over the period of time only you can become the master of any subject, be it physics or chemistry or zoology or botany or mathematics or history or political science or public administration. If you want to master the subject, it takes a lot of time. Through several stages only you can acquire the mastery over the subject. It is a matter of common sense. Like that, Veda, being the knowledge of Indian spirituality, is not acquired within a short period of time or short span of time. There are 4 stages in the evolution of Indian spiritual knowledge or Vedic knowledge. How many stages are there? 4 stages. First stage is called Samhita. First stage in the evolution of Vedic knowledge is called Samhita. Second stage is called Brahmana. Third stage is called Aranyakas. Brahmanas, Aranyakas. Fourth stage and final stage is called Upanishads. How many stages are there in the evolution of Vedic knowledge or Indian spiritual knowledge? 4 stages. First stage, Samhita. I am making the recap. First stage, Samhita. Second stage, Brahmanas. Third stage, Aranyakas. Fourth stage, Upanishads. And what is the final stage in the evolution of Indian spiritual knowledge? Upanishad. Let us talk about the essence of each and every stage. Samhita is nothing but praising the God. Praise, stotramu. Brahmana is nothing but karma marga, karma. What is meant by karma marga? Karma marga means performing yajnas and yagas. Brahmanas believed that one can attain the salvation or moksha by following karma marga, by performing yajnas and yagas. Simple concept. And Aranyakas believed that path of yoga will enable any person to attain moksha. Yoga marga. What is the marga proposed by Aranyakas? Yoga marga. And finally, Upanishads. What is the path enunciated by Upanishads for the attainment of salvation? Path of knowledge. What is that? Path of knowledge. Brahmanas, path, karma marga, path of karma, yajnas yagas. Aranyakas, path of yoga. And Upanishads, path of knowledge. Several paths are there for the attainment of moksha. Several roads are there that leads us to moksha. This is what the concept of Indian spirituality. And the last stage in the evolution of Vedic knowledge is Upanishad. It is called Vedanta. Anta means end. It is the end of Veda. When there are 4 stages, what is the end? 4th stage. So what is the 4th stage here? Upanishad. What is Vedanta? Upanishad. It is the end of Veda. It is the final station we will reach in the great spiritual journey of India. Many foreigners, when they come across the word Vedanta, they will definitely unfailingly remember India. India is considered as the land of Vedanta according to many foreign scholars, Western scholars. So, India is often associated with Vedantic philosophy. Though many schools of thought emerged in India, Vedantic philosophy is really indisputable. Vedantic philosophy is a rational system, even according to Vivekananda also. It's a rational system. It's a scientific system. It's a rational view of looking at the things in the world. It's a rational view of looking at the things inside you also. Right? Here see, Vedanta is nothing but Upanishad. Simple concept. Vedanta is nothing but Upanishad. But second part is nothing but Brahmanas. So here we are talking about the word Andhra, first time referred in Indian literature in Aitareya Brahmana. Aitareya Brahmana is related to which Veda? Aitareya Brahmana is related to Rig Veda. Oldest Veda, first Veda in India, Rig Veda. How it was referred? How Andhra was referred in Rig Veda? Here see, let us examine the entire picture. Here see, Vishwamitra having many sons. And some of the sons of Vishwamitra, they are not following the words of Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, enraged Vishwamitra with great anger, cursed them to leave Aryan habitation, that implies North India, to go away from Aryan habitation. These cursed people, they started moving southward and they crossed the Vindhya ranges and entered into South India and began to live with the non-Aryan tribes, namely Shabara, Mutiba, Pundra, Pulinda, etc. They began to live with the non-Aryan tribes, namely Shabara, Mutiba, Pundra, Pulinda, etc. This is what the reference made to Andhras in Aitareya Brahmana. So, above all, we can say that according to Aitareya Brahmana, Andhra people are related to Arya Jati and they are related to North India. Later they came to South India. This is what the essence, entire essence of Aitareya Brahmana. the Aitreya Brahmana. And next, the Buddhist literature also had reference to Andhra, Buddhist literature. Buddhist literature, ancient Buddhist literature, developed between 600 BC to 400 BC, also had great reference to Andhras as Andhakaratta, Andhakaratta. And let us talk about the Itihasas, the tale of Mahabharata. In the tale of Mahabharata, reference was made to Andhras. How it was there? Very, very interesting it is. In the tale of Mahabharata, according to Veda Vyas, Sahadeva, one of the Panchapandavas, Sahadeva, he invaded south, he made invasion on south and defeated, according to Mahabharata, Sahadeva, one of the Panchapandavas, in his invasion on south, he defeated the races like Udaras, Dravidas, Pandyas, Keralas, and Andhras. Here the reference was there directly to Andhras. That implies that Andhras were there, existed in South India by the time of Sahadeva's invasion on South India. That implies by the time of Mahabharata, by the period of Mahabharata, Andhra Jati might have descended to south and existed and settled in the area between Krishna and Godavari. That is what the reference exactly made in Mahabharata. Andhrakaha, Krishna Godavaryo. Exact reference made in Mahabharata, I am just repeating. Andhrakaha, Krishna Godavaryo, Majhe Vidyamano Desaha. Majhe Vidyamano Desaha. Andhrakaha, Krishna Godavaryo, Majhe Vidyamano Desaha. That implies that Andhra Desa is located between river Krishna and Godavari. By the time of Mahabharata, these people descend to South India, Andhras descend to South India and stayed exactly in the place between river Krishna and Godavari. This is what the essence of the story written in Mahabharata, in the invasion of Sahadeva. Okay, this is what Mahabharata refers to Andhra people. And not only Mahabharata, several ancient literature, several ancient books having reference to Andhra people. For instance, Natya Shastra written by Bharata and Kama Sutra written by Vasayana. Kama Sutra written by Vasayana referred to Andhra people. And Vasayana referred Andhra people as a unique race, And Satavahana rulers, they were referred by several Puranas. How many Puranas are there? 18 Puranas. That's why they are called Ashtadasa Puranas. In Ashtadasa Puranas, Satavahanas, the rulers of Andhra Desa, were referred in Matsya Purana, Vayu Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Bhavishya Purana, Bhagavata Purana. These Puranas referred directly Andhra Satavahanas. These Puranas referred Satavahanas as Andhra Sajatiyas, Andhra Sajatiyas, Andhra Bruchas, Andhra Bruchas, Andhra Sajatiyas and Andhra Bruchas. This is the reference made to Satavahanas in the described earlier I described about the Puranas, Brahmanda, Matsya, Vayu, okay, Bhavishya, these Puranas. Okay. And there are so many references in ancient literature. For instance, Megasthenes wrote Indica. Greek ambassador visited the court of Chandragupta Maurya. You know it pretty well. His name is Megasthenes. He authored a great work about India, namely Indica. In this Indica, Megasthenes mentioned about Andhras as they are the strongest people, warrior community, stayed in south and having 30 strong fortifications. These fortifications, we can call them as towns also, cities also. 30 strong fortifications. They are the strongest warrior community in South India, according to Indica. And they had 1 lakh, infantry and 2,000 cavalry. This account was given by Indica, written by Megasthenes about Andhra people, Even a great astronomical scientist related to Gupta's period, Varaha Mihira, astronomer related to Gupta's period. He authored great works, Bruhat Samhita, Bruhat Jataka, very, very standard books on Indian astronomy. Bruhat Jataka, Pancha Siddhantika. These works written by Varahamihira having direct reference to Andhras. Okay, ancient literature and medieval literature also having reference to Andhra people. This is what my explanation here. And let us talk about the epigraphic evidences having reference to Andhras. Epigraphic evidences. What are known as epigraphic evidences? Inscriptions. What are they? Inscriptions. Earliest inscriptions in India are related to Ashoka. First inscriptions in Indian history related to Ashoka. Ashokan inscriptions dated back to 250 BC. They had reference to Andhras. For instance, 13th major rock edict of Ashoka. 13th major rock edict, very, very famous. Why? Because it mentioned, it referred to Battle of Kalinga. 13th major rock edict of Ashoka referred to Andhras. Okay. And early Pallava inscriptions also referred to Andhra Desha. Early Pallava inscriptions, they are written in Prakrit. Early Pallava inscriptions written in Prakrit, later Sanskrit. Inscriptions also referred to Andhra Desha, Andhra Janapada or Andhra Desha. Okay. And Fahiyan writings also refer to Andhra Desha. Huyansang writings also refer to Andhra Desha. And during Vengi Chalukyas or Chalukyas of Vengi, we can call them as Eastern Chalukyas also. Eastern Chalukyas. Andhra Desha is known as Vengi Desha. Andhra Desha is known as Vengi Desha. Okay. And the word Andhra as a word referring to language was first time referred in Nandampudi inscription. Nandampudi inscription written by Nannaya Bhattaraka, a great poet, Nannaya Bhattaraka. Nannaya, who wrote Andhra Mahabharata. Nannaya Bhattaraka, he authored a great inscription, Nandampudi inscription. In that inscription, the word Andhra was first time used as a word referring to language. This inscription dated back to 1053 AD. We can call it as 11th century AD. 11th century AD. From 11th century AD onwards, Andhra word has been used as the word referring to language. This is what the assumption. Here see. And earlier to Nandampudi inscription, Andhra is not used as a word referring to Telugu. Of course, Telugu inscriptions were there earlier to Nandampudi. First Telugu inscription is Renati Chola Dhanunjaya's inscription. First Telugu inscription is Kalamalla inscription. It was given by Renati Chola ruler, Renati Chola Dhanunjaya. But there was no word Telugu in that inscription. Though Telugu was there, there was no word Telugu in that inscription. Though it is a Telugu inscription, no word exactly uses Telugu in that inscription. Right. So this is about how the word Andhra was used as the word referring to language. Here let us talk about Telugu, how the word Telugu came into existence. Here see, Andhra Desha is synonymously referred as Trilinga Desha. It's called Trilinga Desha. Vijjanatha, a poet related to Kakatiya's period, he wrote Vijjanatha, a poet related to Kakatiya's period. He wrote a great work in Sanskrit that is called Pratapa Rudra Yasobhushanam. Pratapa Rudra Yasobhushanam. In that work, he described what is Trilinga Desha. Trilinga Desha means the area between three lingas. What are they? Draksharamam, Kaleshwaram. Three lingas, Kaleshwaram, Sri Saila Jyotirlingam, Sri Saila. Trilinga Desha is often used as a synonymous word referring to Andhra Desha. And Kakatiya rulers are called Trilingadipatis. And Rudramadevi was often referred as Andhra Mahasamragni. That implies that Andhra is equal to Trilinga. Andhra word is equivalent to Trilinga. Kakatiya rulers are called as Trilingadipati. One of the Kakatiya ruler, Rudramadevi, is referred as Andhra Samragni. That implies that we can equate the word Trilinga with Andhra. Andhra, Trilinga are used as synonymous words, having equivalent meaning. And in the writings of Amir Khusro, Muslim writers, Amir Khusro, he was there during Delhi Sultanate, Alauddin Khalji court. And Abul Fazl, in the court of Akbar, Abul Fazl, the word Trilinga, it was pronounced as Telangana, Telangana. The word Telugu, according to some scholars, emerged from Trilinga. And the word Telangana also emerged from the word Trilinga, especially in the writings of Amir Khusro and Abul Fazl. So this is the origin of the words Telangana, Telugu, Andhra, etc. Okay? And now we are discussing the evidences to reconstruct the history of Andhra Desha. Generally, evidences can be divided into two categories. What are they? Literary evidences, literature, books, literary evidences, and archaeological evidences, Literary evidences and archaeology related evidences. Literary evidences again can be divided into two categories: Indian literature and literature are the books written by foreign travelers. Literature written by the foreign travelers. Okay, and let us consider archaeological evidences. Archaeological evidences can be broadly divided into three categories. What are they? Inscriptions. The study about the inscription is called epigraphy. So we can call inscriptions as epigraphic evidences. And second kind of evidences under archaeology is coins. The study about the coins is called numismatics. And third kind of archaeological evidences are monuments or structures. Okay, they are the important elements covered under the category of archaeological evidences. Let us talk about literature. First, Indian literature. Literature written by Indian scholars or court poets. And let us talk about the first reference to Andhras. I have already told you that first reference to Andhras was there in Aitareya Brahmana. It is related to Rig Veda. Aitareya Brahmana is related to Rig Veda. In Aitareya Brahmana, it was told that, it was referred that Andhras are related to North India and they are a part of Aryan race, and some of them are cursed by Vishwamitra and they descend to South India after overcoming Vindhya ranges and began to live with the non-Aryan tribes, namely Shabara, Mutiba, Pundra, Pulinda, etc. This is what the exact reference made in Aitareya Brahmana. It is related to Rig Veda. Right. And the other references to Andhras that was there in ancient Buddhist literature. In ancient Buddhist literature, Andhra Desha was called Andhakaratta. So ancient Buddhist literature also had references to Andhra Desha. And here see, Satavahanas. To know about the history of Andhra Satavahanas, the contemporary literature, we are having contemporary literature written during the period of Satavahanas period and describing about the conditions prevailing in Satavahanas period. And let us take the book like Gadha Saptasati. Sati means 100, Sapta means 7, 7 into 100, 700 stories. Gadha means stories. So it is the compilation of 700 stories. Written by 350 poets and poetess. It is the compilation of 700 stories written by 350 poets and poetess. What is the significance of this book regarding the history of Satavahanas? What do you understand about the history of Satavahanas if we depend upon the book, namely Gadha Saptasati? Originally, this book was written by Hala Satakarni, one of the rulers of Satavahanas, Hala Satakarni, whose period is considered as Golden Age of Prakrit language. Golden Age of Prakrit language and literature is the period of Hala Satakarni. He compiled 700 stories written by 350 poets in the form of Gadha Saptasati, and the significance of this book is nothing but it mirrored the social life of Satavahanas. It is a mirror to the social life of Satavahanas. It reflected the social life, social conditions, lifestyle, hobbies, festivals, and the status of women. Everything, the social conditions were pictorially, vividly described and portrayed through the book, namely Gadha Saptasati. And another important literary evidences to know about the history of Satavahanas is Bruhat Kada. It was written by Gunadhya. Gunadhya wrote Bruhat Kada in Paisachi Prakrut. Paisachi Prakrut. Prakrit language means naturally spoken language. Prakrit means commonly spoken language, naturally spoken language. Without the requirement of any specific training, one can speak the language eloquently, naturally, as naturally acquired skill. That is called Prakrit. Prakriti means nature. Naturally acquired ability is called Prakrit language. Prakrit, having many forms, varies from place to place. For instance, Magadi. I am describing the forms of Prakrit language. Magadi, Ardha Magadi, Sauraseni, Maharashtri, Paisachi. Various forms are there in Prakrit language. Gunadhya wrote Bruhat Kada in Paisachi Prakrut, in Paisachi form of Prakrit language. What is the significance of Bruhat Kada? How far it is relevant to know about the history of Satavahanas? It gives immense information and valuable information about the history of Satavahanas. In what way? So, Bruhat Kada is nothing but stories. It is the basis of the entire story literature of the world. It is the basis of the entire story literature of the world. Story literature of the world. Many Sanskrit works have received inspiration from Bruhat Kada. For instance, Kshemendra wrote Bruhat Kada Manjari. Kshemendra wrote Bruhat Kada Manjari. And Somadeva wrote Kada Sarissagara. And Vishnu Sharma, related to Gupta's period, he wrote Panchatantra. Sanskrit works there. Panchatantra. All these works inspired by Bruhat Kada, written by Gunadhya. It has become the inspiration for all story literature in the entire world, including Sanskrit. So, Bruhat Kada was originally written in Prakrit, Paisachi Prakrit by Gunadhya, and Gunadhya happened to be the court poet of Kuntala Satakarni, one of the rulers of Satavahanas, namely Kuntala Swati or Kuntala Satakarni. Kuntala Swati or Kuntala Satakarni. Okay. So, Vasayana Kama Sutra also reveals something about Satavahanas period. Vasayana's Kama Sutra. Vasayana's Kama Sutra also reveals about Satavahanas period and Satavahanas conditions. And for instance, Kuntala Satakarni is the most epicurus personality revealed by Vasayana Kama Sutra. Epicurus, luxurious, always spent his time in the pleasure pursuits. That means epicurus personality, luxurious personality, led the life of luxury. Who is that? Kuntala Satakarni, according to Vasayana's Kama Sutra. Okay, and Vasayana Kama Sutra vividly described about the popular amusements and entertainments during the period of Satavahanas. The people adopted many means of popular amusements and enjoyments. Such enjoyments and amusements were vividly portrayed through the work, namely Vasayana Kama Sutra. Okay. So these works are literary evidences are sufficient to know about the history of Satavahanas. And let us talk about the rest of the history in Andhra Pradesh. For instance, the conflict between Rashtrakutas and Eastern Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas are also called as Vengi Chalukyas. So the conflict between Vengi Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas described by the writings of Pampakavi. Who is this Pampakavi? Pampakavi is Adikavi in Kannada literature. One of the three gems of Kannada literature, Kavitrayam. One of the three gems of Kannada literature, Pampakavi. Pampakavi wrote Vikramarjuna Vijayam. This Vikramarjuna Vijayam describes about the conflict between Rashtrakutas and Vengi Chalukyas. So the conflict between Rashtrakutas and Vengi Chalukyas described in the book Vikramarjuna Vijayam, written by Pampakavi. And Pampakavi, interestingly, he was patronized by Arikesari II. Who is this Arikesari II? Arikesari II is the most prominent ruler of Vemulavada Chalukyas. How a poet patronized by Vemulavada Chalukya ruler described about Rashtrakuta and Eastern Chalukya rivalry. Vemulavada Chalukyas are none other than most important subordinate rulers to Rashtrakutas and relatives to Rashtrakutas. So they know pretty well whatever the clash going on between Rashtrakutas and Eastern Chalukyas. And they participate in the battles in support of Rashtrakutas against Eastern Chalukyas. That's why Vemulavada Chalukya ruler Arikesari court poet Pampakavi could describe vividly what exactly happened in terms of conflict between Rashtrakutas and Eastern Chalukyas or Vengi Chalukyas. So Rashtrakutas, they had the supporters, namely Vemulavada Chalukyas. Vemulavada Chalukyas. And Vemulavada Chalukyas participated in the battle in support of Rashtrakutas against Eastern Chalukyas. That's why they can have the understanding about the conflict between Rashtrakutas and Eastern Chalukyas. And coming to Kakatiya's period, many works are there in Sanskrit as well as Telugu which described about the conditions of Kakatiya's period. For instance, to know about the political system of Kakatiyas, one can depend upon the following works. I will list out what are they. Madiki Singana, he wrote Sakala Niti Sammatam. Sakala Niti Sammatam. To know about the political system of Kakatiyas, we will have to depend upon the following works of the contemporary period. Madiki Singana wrote Sakala Niti Sammatam. Baddena wrote Niti Shastra Muktavali. Niti Shastra Muktavali. Baddena wrote Niti Shastra Muktavali. And Prataparudra Yasobhushanam. Prataparudra Yasobhushanam. It was written by Vijyanatha. Prataparudra Yasobhushanam written by Vijyanatha. Okay. And Sivadevaya wrote Purushartha Saram. So these are the works which reveals about the political system and conditions during Kakatiya's period. Like that, in order to know about the Kakatiya society, one can depend upon the work, namely Kridabhiramam, written by Vinukonda Vallabhamachya. And Pratapa Charitra written by Ekamranadha. Pratapa Charitra written by Ekamranadha. And Siddheswara Charitra written by Kasya Sarvappa. Siddheswara Charitra written by Kasya Sarvappa. So these are the works which reveals about the society and religious conditions during Kakatiya's period. Okay, so a lot of literature is there developed during various dynasties, the period of various dynasties which described about the conditions, contemporary conditions existing in such dynasties, respective dynasties. And let us talk about Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara history is revealed by many contemporary references. Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire, an empire founded for the sole purpose of the protection of Hindu Dharma, and it was responsible for the protection of Hindu Dharma south to river Krishna. Okay, Vijayanagara was revealed by Vijayanagara Empire story was revealed by many contemporary works, like including Amuktamalya written by Sri Krishna Devaraya. It is also called as Vishnu Chittiyam. Amuktamalya written by Sri Krishna Devaraya. Saluvabhyudayam written by Rajanatha Dindimuni. Okay. And Madhura Vijayam written by Ganga Devi or Gangamamba. Ganga Devi. So through Madhura Vijayam, Ganga Devi described that her husband Veerakampana invaded Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Madura means Madurai. Invaded Madurai and defeated the subordinate rulers to Delhi Sultans and protected Hindu Dharma at Madurai. This entire subject was portrayed through a work namely Madhura Vijayam written by Ganga Devi or Gangamamba. So several works are there related to that period, Raya Vachakam. So these are all the works revealing about the history of Vijayanagara Empire. What happened exactly during Vijayanagara can be understood in terms of all this literature. Right. And medieval Andhra Desha history is revealed through very important sources, namely Kaifiyat. What is meant by Kaifiyat? Kaifiyat means affidavit. Kaifiyat means affidavit. affidavit given by village headman about the conditions in the village from time to time to the ruler. Okay, the village headman, he submits from time to time about the ground reality existing in the rural villages, about the conditions in the villages to ruler time to time in the form of a report that is called kaifiyat. These kaifiyats are of immense value to know about exactly what happened in the rural level, okay, and they are more believable also rather than the writings of the court poets. We cannot believe the writings of the court poets. Simply the reason behind that is nothing but subjectivity. A lot of subjectivity is there in the writings of the court poets. And moreover, the court poets used to get the favors from the ruler. That's why they used to portray the entire things as golden. And they will not touch upon the misery of the people. However, the misery existed, they will not deal with the miserable conditions existing in the empire. And they will show only the brighter side of the society, not the seamier side. Then we cannot believe them, we cannot take them into our confidence. So which is more believable here, kaifiyat. Kaifiyat is an affidavit submitted by village headman informing the ruler from time to time about the conditions existing in the village. So the rural Andhra Desha in medieval centuries is revealed through kaifiyats. And who are the personalities eminently popular in collection of kaifiyats? C.P. Brown and Colonel Colin Mackenzie. C.P. Brown and Colonel Colin Mackenzie, they did pioneering work in the collection of kaifiyats, okay, with which we can understand the rural reality of medieval Andhra Desha. And Kavali Borraya brothers, they played important role in the collection. Kavali Borraya brothers. Okay, and coming to medieval history, Amir Khusro wrote many works, and out of them Tariq-i-Alai is having lot of importance. Tariq-i-Alai. In that work, Amir Khusro described Alauddin Khalji's invasion on South India. What are the conditions in South India at the time of invasion of Alauddin Khalji? Alauddin Khalji invaded Warangal. At the time, Warangal was ruled by Kakatiya ruler Prataparudra Deva. Prataparudra too was ruling Kakatiya Empire with its capital at Warangal. So when Alauddin Khalji made the incursion to South India. So in the year 1303, first invasion was taken place from Alauddin Khalji on Warangal. It was a failure. Again, between the years 1309 to 1310, second invasion was made from Alauddin Khalji on Warangal. And this time, Turkish forces were led by Malik Kafur, one of the commanders of Alauddin Khalji, one of the ablest commanders of Alauddin Khalji, and who played instrumental role in the invasion of Alauddin Khalji on South India. And Prataparudra was defeated, and he became a feudatory of Delhi Sultanate from the time onwards. Okay, and all these conditions were narrated by Amir Khusro's work Tariq-i-Alai. And like that, Isami wrote Fatuhus Salatin. This is a book describes about South Indian states, how they rebelled against Muhammad bin Tughlaq at that time. How they rebelled against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, South India, and established the independent empires. These South Indian conditions and the rebellions were vividly portrayed through a work namely Fatuhus Salatin, written by Isami. So these are the works revealing about the history of Andhra Desha. And let us talk about the foreign travelers account about Andhra Desha conditions. The first foreign travelers account referring to Andhra Desha is Indica. It was written by Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, namely Megasthenes. And I told you already, Indica mentioned Andhra people as strong warriors and having 30 great fortifications or towns. And they had 1 lakh infantry, 2,000 cavalry, and 1,000 elephants. Like that, he used to give elaborate list of the army of Andhra people. Indica. Okay. And later, the foreign travelers accounts like Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. It was written by a Greek anonymous navigator. He described about the port towns in South India and trade centers in South India and the trade carried with other nations Everything it was portrayed through Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. And Ptolemy's writing also important evidence. And Roman writer Pliny writings also important evidence to know about South India from foreign travelers' point of view. And later you see Fahian, who came to India during the time of Chandragupta to Vikramaditya from China. He wrote Fokoko, a book namely Fokoko. He described about Paruvata Vihara, built by Yagnastri Satakarni for Acharya Nagarjuna. Right. He described about the conditions of Parvata Vihara, about the form of Parvata Vihara, and the number of the chambers of Parvata Vihara, and the number of the staircases of Parvata Vihara, everything else. And Chinese traveler in 7th century AD, his name is Huan Song. He wrote a work namely Siyuki. He described about coastal Andhra conditions at the time of Vengi Chalukyas, coastal Andhra conditions at the time of Vengi Chalukyas. And he described about Andhra people, how they appeared at the time. They are hardworking Andhra people, they had great strength and they had great perseverance, and they are honest people, okay. And moreover, dense forest area is there. And thieves and dacoits normally roam in the forest area, and he saw black elephants in Srikakulam area. These affairs were all narrated in a book namely Siyuki. In Siyuki, Vengi Desa was called as Antholo. Andhra Desa is called as Antholo. And its capital Vengi near Eluru is called as Pinkilo. And he called Dhanya Kataka Ramaravati on the river bank of Krishna, Dhanya Kataka, as Tenakachaka. Andhra Desa is called Antholo. Its capital Vengipura is called Pinkilo. And Dhanya Kataka is a great seat of Buddhism on the river bank of Krishna is called as Tenakachaka in the Chinese work namely Siyuki written by Huan Song. A great traveler came from China who ascertained the conditions in India, especially including political conditions. He was born in the aristocratic family in China, in a province namely Shaanxi. He was born in aristocratic family. What is meant by aristocratic family? Ruling house, ruling class family. That's why he could not give up ruling class qualities. Even though he was a Buddhist follower, came to India for the collection of Buddhist manuscripts, sometimes he was more interested, more inclined to know about political conditions in India. Why? Because he was brought up under ruling class conditions. Then, keeping in view of ruling class conditions, and he could not forget his ruling class origin, and he ascertained the political system in India also. That's why he is called Prince of Travelers. So that is what Huan Song contribution to know about history of Andhra Desa. Okay, and several people are there even during the time of Kakatiyas. Marco Polo, Italian Marco Polo visited Motupalli. What is Motupalli? Important port town during Kakatiyas in Prakasam district, Motupalli, and gave an elaborate account of the exports and imports from Motupalli. He visited Motupalli during the time of Rani Rudramadevi. Kakatiya Empress Rudramadevi was there at the time of the visit of Marco Polo to India. Okay, and later you see Nicola Conti. Nicola Conti is also Italian traveler. He came to Vijayanagara for the first time at the time of Devaraya I. He came to Vijayanagara for the first time during the time of Devaraya I and stayed for a long time during the time of Devaraya II. That is correct. Devaraya II, yes, he was there during Devaraya II, but he stayed for a long time during Devaraya II, but for the first time the visit was made during the time of Devaraya I. That is what correct. Nicola Conti. And Abdul Rajak, a Persian ambassador, Abdul Rajak, he described about the prostitution in Vijayanagara Empire. The prostitution, institution of prostitution in Vijayanagara Empire. And he described about the beauty of Vijayanagara. Okay, Abdul Rajak. So like that, so many people are there. Ibn Battuta, he visited India during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Ibn Battuta, and he wrote a great work, Kitabul Rahala. So many works are there which narrated about the conditions of Andhra Desa, okay, from foreign travelers' point of view, right? And let us consider archaeological evidences. First and foremost important archaeological evidences, undoubtedly inscriptions. Epigraphic evidences or inscriptions. Earliest inscription in India as well as in Andhra Pradesh related to Ashoka. Earliest inscriptions in India as well as in Andhra Pradesh related to Ashoka. Ashokan inscriptions are related to 250 BC in Andhra Pradesh. Ashokan inscriptions were found at Yarragudi, Razula Mandagiri, okay, Amaravati, Kottam. These are all Dharmasasanas. For instance, in Yarragudi inscription, he advised the teachers to imbibe the spirit of Dharma while teaching the lessons to the students. He exhorted or advised the teachers to imbibe the spirit of Dharma while teaching the classes. Right. That is what the exhortation made through Yarragudi inscription. Okay. So these inscriptions and availability of these inscriptions abundantly in Andhra Pradesh, it is suggestive of the fact that Andhra Pradesh was a part and parcel of mightiest Mauryan Empire during Ashoka. And Bhattiprolu Stupa, Bhattiprolu inscriptions were also revealing about the spread of Buddhism in Andhra Pradesh, dated back to 200 BC. Bhattiprolu inscriptions, they were revealing the fact that Andhra Pradesh was a Buddhist desha at that time. Buddhism got spread in Andhra Pradesh, in almost all places of Andhra Pradesh. The entire Krishna Valley became the abode of Buddhism. Okay, that is about the inscriptions. And let us talk about other inscriptions, early Pallava inscriptions and Ikshwaku inscriptions. We know about Ikshwakus, and first of all, Satavahanas inscriptions. We know about Satavahanas from inscriptional point of view, and the inscriptions were found in the areas like Nasik, Karle, Kanheri, Chinaganjam, and many places of Andhra Pradesh, Amaravati. So many inscriptions of Satavahanas were found in large number. And they hold the testimony to the fact that Satavahanas ruled effectively the entire area of Andhra Pradesh. Here see, Balastri's Nasik inscription is very, very important. Gautami Balastri's Nasik inscription, it gives the details about the qualities of her son Gautami Putra Satakarni. She described her son as if he is a mythological hero, a legendary character. Eka Brahmana, Agama Nilaya, Kshatriya Darpamana Mardhana. This is what the prizing of Gautami Balastri about her son. Kshatriya Darpamana Mardhana, Kshaharatwamsa Nivaraseshakara, Trisamudratoya Pitavahana, Seka Yavana Pahladi Nishadhana, Satavahana Kulayasa Pratishthapanakara. In a beautiful manner, unparalleled way, she praised and commended the achievements and accomplishments of her great son, Gautami Putra Satakarni. So it's what the importance of inscriptions to know about the history of past. And Devi Naganika, the wife of Satakarni I, she gave Nana Ghat inscription. It is located in Nana Ghat Pass, that's why it is called Nana Ghat inscription. It gives the details about her husband Satakarni I. She praised her husband as Veera, Sura, Apratihata Chakra, Dakshina Padapati, and praised her husband as if he performed many yagas in Vedic ritualism and donated several grants to Brahmin. He is the first Satavahana ruler who gave tax-free lands to Brahmin community, Satakarni I. This information was revealed by Devi Naganika's Nana Ghat inscription. And about Ikshwakus, we come to know about Ikshwakus through inscriptions also. The inscriptions found at Ramireddipalli, Nagarjunakonda, Nagarjunakonda, Gantasala, Jaggayapeta. These inscriptions revealing about the history of Ikshwakus. Ikshwakus ruled with their capital at Vijaypuri. Earlier they were subordinate rulers to Satavahanas. And coming to the inscriptions, here see 3rd century BC to 4th century AD. Between these 2 centuries, the entire period, the inscriptions were written in, most of the inscriptions were written in Prakrit language. First inscription language in India is Prakrit only. Most of the inscriptions between the 3rd century BC and from the time of Ashoka and up to Ikshvakus, most of the inscriptions were written in Prakrit language. From Ashokan period to Ikshvaku period, from 3rd century BC to 4th century AD, most of the inscriptions, almost all inscriptions were written in Prakrit language. Prakrit language. Even early Pallava inscriptions were also Prakrit. Early Pallava inscriptions, that implies 4th century AD, early Pallavas, they also issued the inscriptions in Prakrit language. And in 5th century and 6th century ADs, Pallavas adopted Sanskrit as the inscription language. Pallava inscriptions began to be written in Sanskrit language from 5th century, 6th century. In 4th century AD, early Pallavas, as and when they came to rule in Palnadu area, okay, they used only Prakrit inscriptions. Early Pallava inscriptions, undoubtedly Prakrit inscriptions. But later in 5th century and 6th century AD, they began to adopt Sanskrit as the inscriptional language. And first Sanskrit inscription in South Indian history. First Sanskrit inscription in South Indian history. It was related to Yahavalik Shantamala. Yahavalik Shantamala. He was one of the rulers of Ikshvakus. He is one of the rulers of Ikshvakus. The inscription is Nagarjuna Konda inscription. It was the first Sanskrit inscription in the history of South. Okay. So this is about the inscription, how they described about the history of various dynasties. And about Bruhat Palayanas. If you want to know about Bruhat Palayanas, Kondamudi copper plate inscription. Kondamudi copper plate inscription. It's the most important inscription. Right. Let us talk about the coins, how far they are useful for reconstruction of history. So many people consider coins as not having great value, but they are having great value next to inscriptions. How can I say that coins are having immense value in knowing historical facts? With coins we come to understand the religious temperament of a ruler. How it is possible? For instance, a ruler issued the coin with the image of Shiva. What does it mean? That implies he adopted Shaivism. A ruler issued the coins with the image of Kartikeya Swami or Kumara Swami. With that we come to know that he is a great devotee of Kumara Swami or Kartikeya Swami. A ruler issued the coin with the symbol of goddess Lakshmi. With that we come to know that they are Vaishnavites. A ruler issued the coin with the symbol of Garuda. We come to know that they are Vaishnavites. Right or wrong? The religious temperament and religiosity of a ruler is revealed by coins. And hobbies of the rulers also sometimes revealed by coins. For instance, Samudragupta issued the coin, his own image as playing Veena. As playing Veena. That implies that he is Vainika, player of Veena. So it is revealed by the coins. His access to music and his expertise in music was revealed through coins. And hobbies were also revealed by coins. And coins at their availability in various parts of the country, they indicate the extent of the empire also. Extent of the empire. Coins indicate the extent of the empire. For instance, Pulomavi I coins were found at Pataliputra. Okay. What does it imply? Pataliputra was also under the control of Pulomavi. It shows the extent of the domain he controlled, a territory he controlled. Territorial extent of the empire is also revealed by the availability of the coins. Okay, and coins reveal the facts about trade and commerce. Very, very important, trade and commerce. Okay. So these are all the various usages of coins, numismatics. Let us focus on the coins. Some of the important things regarding coins of history of Andhra Pradesh. Here see, Satavahanas issued various coins with various symbols. Okay, and Satavahana, most of the coins of Satavahanas are Potin coins, mixed metal, Potin coins. And gold coins were also there, silver coins were also there. Gold coins of Satavahanas, they are called as Suvarnas. Suvarnas. Silver coins of Satavahanas were called as Karshapanas. Karshapanas. One Suvarna, that means one gold coin is equal to how many Karshapanas, how many silver coins? 35 Karshapanas. How do you know? Who told you? Rishabhadatta. Rishabhadatta, he is a Shaka ruler. He gave Nasik inscription. In that Nasik inscription, he told us that one Suvarna is equal to 35 Karshapanas. That means one gold coin is equal to 35 silver coins. Like that. Yagnasri Satakarni, 27th ruler out of 30 rulers of Satavahanas, he issued the coins with the image of ship. It indicates their supremacy over oceanic trade. It indicates Satavahana's supremacy over oceanic trade. And many Roman gold coins in large number were found in various areas of Andhra Pradesh. For instance, Attirala, Kadapa, Salihundam in Srikakulam district, Vijayawada, Vinukonda in Guntur district, Vinukonda, and Krishnapatnam, Nellore. And these are the areas where abundantly we found the Roman gold coins. They are called Dinara Moshakas. With that, we come to know that we had trade links with Rome, and our exports are more than our imports, and balance of trade is favorable to India. So various issues were revealed by coins. And for instance, Vengi Chalukyas or Eastern Chalukyas, they issued the coins with their royal insignia, Varaha. Okay, Varahas. That's why those coins are called Varahas. Varahas are also called as Gajjanas. So several things are revealed through coins. Coins play very important role in knowing about the history of Andhra Pradesh. And later structures. Monuments are structures. First monuments of the history of Andhra Pradesh are megaliths. They are nothing but the graves of the ancient men in Andhra Pradesh. Graves, tombs, graves. They are covered by big, huge stones, and they reveal about the customary practices, various beliefs, and the conditions during very ancient centuries. Okay, megaliths. And later, Buddhist structures, stupas, viharas, sangaramas, aramas, were abundantly found in various areas of Andhra Pradesh. For instance, Nagarjuna Konda, Amaravati, okay, Jaggayapeta, Salihundam, okay, and in Prakasam district, Dupadu Chandavaram. I am talking about the stupas and Buddhist structures in Andhra Pradesh. Dupadu in Chandavaram, Prakasam district. And Vijayanagaram, Ramatirtham. Visakha, Bojjanna Konda. Earlier it is Buddhudi Konda, later became Bojjanna Konda in the accent of local people. Bojjanna Konda. Sankaram in Visakha district. Sankaram. Lingalametta. Lingalametta means Uddesika stupas will be there, small in size, resembling Sivalingas. Okay. So various areas are Guntupalli near Eluru. So various areas are there, and abundantly we have found the relics of various Buddhist structures. So later, after Buddhist structures, Jainist structures. Best example, Danavulapadu, Kadapa district, Jamalamadugu Taluk, Danavulapadu, like that. And later, temple construction in South India, Hindu temple construction in South India was first time initiated by Ikshwakus, especially during the time of Yahavalik Shantamala. Ikshwaku ruler, Yahavalik Shantamala. Thank you very much.